She bought a wounded German Shepherd for just $5. Everyone said it was a mistake, but just days later, the dog did something that brought her to her knees in tears. What she thought was a broken, forgotten stray turned out to be something no one could have imagined. And his story ended up inspiring an entire town. Lily was only 7 years old. She often said, "One day, I'm going to find my real best friend." That day came sooner than anyone expected. While visiting a neighbor's run-down property on the edge of town with her grandfather, Lily noticed movement near an old, rusting barn. There, lying in a patch of straw and mud, was a German Shepherd. Thin, limping, his eyes dull, his body scarred. He was loosely tied to a fence post, as if he didn't matter at all. When Lily asked the man about the dog, he shrugged indifferently. "He's no good anymore. Hurt his leg. You can take him. $5. Lily looked up at her grandpa with wide eyes, then reached into her jacket pocket. She pulled out exactly 5 crumpled dollars, money she'd saved from helping her grandma collect eggs and sweeping the porch every weekend. Her hand shook slightly as she offered the bill. The man grabbed it without even a glance. "He's your problem now," he muttered. But to Lily, he wasn't a problem. He was a promise. Her grandfather hesitated. "Sweetheart, are you sure?" She nodded firmly. "He needs someone, and I think he picked me." They carefully untied the dog, trying not to startle him. He didn't resist. He simply stood, weak but willing, and quietly followed Lily. That was the moment their bond was sealed. When they got home, Lily made a warm bed for him in the barn, using soft blankets and fresh water. She knelt beside him, gently stroked his fur and whispered, "You're safe now, Bruno." The name just came to her, and for the first time, the dog let out a quiet sigh, like he understood that he finally belonged somewhere. The first few days were still. Bruno hardly moved, barely ate. His limp was worse than Lily expected. Every sudden sound made him flinch. He didn't bark, didn't growl. He just watched the world. With eyes full of stories too heavy to tell, Lily never left his side. She read him bedtime stories, shared her sandwiches, even placed her favorite stuffed animal next to him at night. Her grandparents watched silently, unsure if he'd ever recover or trust again. But Lily never stopped believing. Every morning she greeted him with a cheerful, "Good morning, buddy." Every night she tucked him in, like a little brother. And then something changed. One evening, as Lily hummed while brushing hay, Bruno gave a small, hesitant wag of his tail. It was barely there, but to Lily, it was everything. That one tiny wag meant he wasn't just healing on the outside. He was starting to feel safe, maybe even loved. Soon, Lily's grandfather began noticing strange things about Bruno. One night, a military documentary played on the television. The moment the sound of marching boots echoed from the screen, Bruno snapped to attention. He stood up, ears pricked, body rigid, like a soldier responding to a command. Lily looked up. "Grandpa, why did he do that?" The next morning brought something even more startling. Lily dropped a bucket of grain, and before she could react, Bruno darted in front of her, placing himself between her and the noise, protective and focused. Later, Lily giggled and pointed her finger like a toy gun. "Bang!" she said playfully. Without hesitation, Bruno dropped to the ground, playing dead. No one had ever taught him that. From the porch, her grandfather watched, eyebrows knitted. "That dog's been trained," he murmured. "And not just tricks. Real training." Lily looked down at Bruno, who now rested peacefully by her side. Maybe he forgot who he was. Until now. And then came the moment that changed everything. One golden evening, Lily wandered too far toward the edge of the woods behind the farm, chasing a butterfly. Bruno trailed closely behind. The air was still. The tall grass brushed her legs. Suddenly, a rustle. From the bushes, a wild boar exploded into view, snarling, charging straight at her. Lily froze. Her heart pounded. She couldn't move, but Bruno could. In a flash, he launched himself between her and the charging boar, barking with a power that shook the trees. With fierce precision, he circled and dodged, growling and snapping until the animal finally backed down and disappeared into the forest. When it was over, Bruno calmly returned to Lily's side. He gently licked her hand, like nothing had happened. The next morning, her grandfather spoke up. "We need to get him checked again, properly." They took Bruno to the town's small animal clinic, nestled between the feed store and the bakery. Dr. Simmons welcomed them and began the exam. As he ran his hands over Bruno's shoulders, he paused. "There's something here," he murmured. Carefully, he pressed into the dog's fur, and moments later, pulled out a small metallic chip, damaged, but still readable. He scanned it using a specialized reader. What popped up made his eyes widen. "This dog, he's not a stray. He was part of a military K9 unit. Bravo Noir, presumed dead in action. 2 years ago, there was a transport explosion." Lily gasped. "Bruno." She dropped to her knees beside him, tears filling her eyes. Bruno licked her cheek softly, like he was telling her everything was okay. "You were a hero before I met you," she whispered. "But now you're my hero too." In that moment, the $5 dog became so much more. He became proof that even what seems broken can still protect, still love, and still save lives. It didn't take long for Bruno's story to spread. Dr. Simmons, deeply moved by what he uncovered, contacted a local reporter who had once served in the military. Days later, the town paper ran the story with the headline, "Forgotten K9 Hero Found by 10-Year-Old Girl." Within hours, people began arriving at the farm. Some brought treats, others just came to meet the brave dog, who had come back from the dead. Neighbors, who had once kept to themselves, now left bones and thank you notes on the porch. One retired soldier even drove across 2 counties just to shake Lily's hand and salute Bruno. "He saved more than lives on the battlefield," the man said. "He reminded us what loyalty truly looks like." Standing in front of a small crowd that had gathered, Lily looked out, then down at Bruno. "I didn't know who he was when I gave that $5, she began, her voice trembling. "I just knew he needed someone. And maybe I did too." She paused, brushing a tear away with her sleeve. "They say I rescued him," she whispered. "But I think he rescued me first." Silence fell. Not a single dry eye remained. Bruno stood beside her, strong, steady. His tail wagged slowly, as if he understood every word. Lily leaned down, wrapped her arms around his neck, and whispered, "You're my best friend." And in that moment, he was, forever.